Hi guys, welcome to Christina Welch Artistry. This is Christina. So today we're going to be doing a beautiful little anniversary card. I'm using an iris die set that I picked up off of, Temu. This is available at some stamp shops online, but I will put the links for everything I use today down in the description. So I'm just using some really pretty lavender paper, and I'm going to cut out those irises and all the components. And let me tell you, those little tiny components were not fun to add to these irises. You'll see my struggle. I definitely was on the struggle bus with this one. So I do love this lavender paper. I probably could have used a white and colored it lavender, with the blending brushes. I would have got some different shading on there. But I thought if I start with the lavender, it wouldn't be so much shading, and I could do a quick video that way. So I like to put everything back on my magnet the way that it goes so I don't confuse. And of course, all these little pieces stuck to my Empress magnetic platform, so I'll have to pick all those off. But they're so tiny, and my fingers are so sore. I'm having a rough week this week, that's for sure. I really enjoyed making this little card. It was a lot of work, actually, trying to figure out where everything went. And I had pictures of, some inspirational pictures, but it still didn't show you how to put it together. So I wanted my leaves really dark. I could have done a light green and shaded it, but I wanted them really dark. Because if I look at my irises outside, the leaves are very dark. And it could be a North Carolina thing, I don't know. So I'm running that through my die cutter. And I love that they're all one piece die except for that one little piece. It makes it so much easier to cut things out when they're all together. So now comes the fun part. We're going to be doing some shading, and I am going to be using some finger daubers, which I have never done before. Now, I have arthritis in my index finger, so that's going to be fun. Oh, these are all my embossing papers. I sat one day and just embossed like 3 of everything that I love. So I could have some for cards for anniversary and, wedding or, engagement. But I'm going to bring out my little silicone mat here so I can do some blending and hopefully cut some of that glare in my light off. I still have not brought a box light in. I'm sorry. So to one flower, there's only 2 pieces. And then to the other flower, there's 3. And I definitely want some dimension in these flowers. Or irises, I should say, right? So let's see how I do. I'm using grape jelly from Memento. It's one of my favorite purples. And I'm just rubbing the edges. I'm doing this voiceover during the day, and the puppies are in the living room with my hubby. So you might hear some beats going, or you might hear a little bit of barking. Hopefully no barking. He's trying to keep them quiet so I can get this done. So happy Memorial Day to everyone, by the way. Thank you to all who have served and have lost their lives or have passed away. I probably should have used a blending brush because I could have gotten that so much smoother. But in the end, it all worked out and they looked really pretty. I'm just doing the edges, and then I decide, I want them a little darker, so I start laying it on a little thicker. And that bruise on my right arm as I ran into the door. I had a guy come to replace a porch post, and I opened the door, and the door fell back on my arm. So it wasn't much, you know, it's just a little bump, but I bruised terrible with these blood thinners, so July, July, July. I'll be off them in July. It won't be so bad. Yeah, I have lots of bruises on my hands today. So I hope everybody's having a good day. Our weekend project is replacing the railings on the front porch. We had a heck of a storm this morning, so we have not been out there to work on it yet. So I thought I'll do my voiceover, and then I'm going to go out and put some spindles in, some balusters. Hopefully we can get the railings up so the pups can go out on the front porch again. They're having a fit because they can't go out. So here I'm trying the, I believe it's cottage ivy. No, olive grove, and I just did not like it. So I ended up using northern pine to shade these leaves. And I loved it. It was super dark, and I love it. I wanted something dramatic. Soft and pretty is fine, but I wanted something a little more dramatic. And I'm just smearing it on there. I'm not like doing anything heavy duty. So I cut a piece of paper. I believe this is 7 by 6. I found this stamp that has a bunch of sentiments, and you just do it all in one piece, and then it has a die and it cuts them all out at one time. So the first one I did, of course, my paper wasn't big enough, so you didn't see that one. So you're going to see this one. But isn't that great? It does them all at one time. And this way I can fill up my little containers of sentiments, and I'll have them ready to go. So some of these, they really needed 3, like the happy birthday. Really needed another layer, but it worked out great. And I did these on a thinner weight paper because I'm going to cut just the dies out onto cardstock for the backgrounds of these, and I'll glue them all together so I have them ready to go. And I did not take my stamp out. I was a good girl. I remembered to leave it in there. So I'm just lining it up, and I'm going to run that through my die machine, and you'll see how cool it is when you pop them all out. And I'm only doing this because I want a happy anniversary sentiment. And I have plenty of those separate, but I wanted to try this out. It's new. I thought before I put it away, let's cut them out and see what they look like. There's a lot of good ones on here. Lots of thank yous and way to goes. It's like every holiday, not every holiday, but every occasion. Let's say that. So this was one that I had cut before, and the paper wasn't big enough, so I have a bunch that I can use to back these. But the ones on the ends, the die was bigger than the paper, so I had to redo it. So now I'm taking this embossing folder, and I am going to trim it down because, well, I should say embossing paper. It's not a folder. It does have a flat border around the edges, so I'm going to take it right down. So I'm cutting it small enough so I can do 3 layers on the front of the card. Well, it'll be 3 layers with the card. So I think I cut it at 3 7/8 by 4 7/8. I can't remember. And I can't see it on the camera, so I can't tell you exactly what I cut it at, but it doesn't matter. It's just trimming it down so I can cut a piece of paper to go behind it, and that piece of paper will go on the cardstock. That's super pretty embossing. In hindsight, I wish now I would have rounded the corners on all of this. I think that would have been even prettier. But, you know, can't do it now. Because you'd have to round that piece there. And round the piece that's going on and round the cardstock. Well, you wouldn't have to round the cardstock, but it would look pretty if everything was rounded. So now I'm cutting this coppery, it's like our old gold metallic paint that we carry from the Posse. Which, by the way, paints are discounted now to $8.50 a jar. I still have quite a bit left. I haven't been advertising it at all. Shame on me. But yeah, they're still on clearancing them out. So if you need to paint, get paints, hit me up on Etsy. That link is below in the description. So I do love that color cardstock. It's almost copper, but it's not. It's super pretty. It's definitely an antique gold, rusty gold maybe. But I have some Julie's gems that match it pretty well. So I thought I would use that. I could have used purple or yellow or any of those colors, but I love foils and I love shimmers and metallics. I always like to bring something into the card like that. I don't know how many times I've touched that blue mat wanting to lift it, and then I remember I have something else to do. Alright, so let's put these flowers together. This was not fun either. So I am going to add some some foam tape here, just to pop that layer up, that second layer, to give the flowers a little more dimension. Because I just think gluing them together, they're just too flat. This way they look wispier. But I did glue this one on without doing the foam square, because then it's too much foam. It's definitely a cute little flower. I love irises and I love lilies, and I love florals, and I could do floral stuff all the time. So on Friday, I worked on some motorcycle cards for my brothers for their birthdays, so I got those done. I did not do a video on those. It was kind of a work on this part for a little bit, go do something else. So I did not do a video on those at all, but I may post the pictures on my Facebook page at some point. My brother's birthday is in June and my other brother is in September, so I wanted to get them done and over with. It's nice to be ahead of the game. Boy, flipping these around. You wait till I get to the yellows. I really struggled. My fingers just don't work like they used to. Definitely that first joint, my index finger on both hands, has definitely got arthritis in it. It's not fun getting old. I should say older, huh? We're not old. We're just older. I don't know what I would do without this pick and stick tool. And I did get that from Gina K Designs. It's a really good one. Or I might have got that from Scrapbook. I can't remember now. I think it's scrapbook.com. I do buy things from these companies. I just don't buy these big sets of dies with... Because then you got to buy the stamps and the dies, and it just gets really expensive, and I can't afford that. And I still want to make cards, so I buy things that I can afford on Temu. And look for inspiration on Pinterest. If, some of these dies are pretty old. Some of them are 2 years old that you find on Temu, and it's hard to find pictures, and of course the shops don't have them in stock anymore because they're discontinued or sold out. So you have to Google search an image that Temu gives you, and sometimes you can find where you might be able to buy it, but I I like to find out what the name of it is, and then I plug it into YouTube and I watch the videos that people use that die set for. Of course, everybody does something different, which is fun. I did something different, which was fun. Um, but there's tons of inspiration out there. Because when you buy a die set and you don't have stamps or this doesn't come with directions how to put it together. Like if you buy it from a company, sometimes they give you a project sheet. So you have to figure it out for yourself. So sometimes before I even purchase a die on Temu, I will try to find all that information before I buy it. Because I have quite a few that were given to me from a woman that came here and looked at puppies, and we found out we had a card making hobby, and she makes them too, and she buys them just like me. You accidentally buy two, and she shared some with me, so I don't know what they make. I really don't. So I'm gonna have to figure that out, and I have not seen those dies on Temu that she gave me, and believe me, I look at them all. But no, I'll figure it out eventually, maybe. So I'm just gluing these onto the stems. And then we're going to arrange them. I'm going to glue this onto the cardstock first, I think. Yes. And then we're going to arrange them. I definitely want to leave enough room for a sentiment. And of course for my Julies. I do like a little bit of negative space. And I always follow the rules of 3 and where your eye is going to rest. And I definitely wanted the eye to rest on that one petal of that iris that hangs right above where I put the sentiment. So I could have overlapped like this. It would have been fine, but I ended up doing it a little different. This was just giving me an idea where to put all the stems. And that one little leaf. So that's pretty much how I'm going to set it up. So let's glue it down. And I have this sped up to 2 times, so otherwise we'd be here for 48 minutes. So hopefully I got this down to about 22, I think. I haven't glued those the stems down yet. I will go back and glue those down as soon as I get the placement right on these, so that I wasn't smearing glue everywhere. And I'm finding out that I really like using glue. Tape runner was fun for a while. Tape runner's fine for whipping something together quickly, but I really like the glue. So now I got to figure out where I'm going to put these leaves. And I'm not gluing the whole leaf. I should say stems, right? Stems. Because I want them to pop up a little bit. And this one I was like, uh-oh. I was supposed to put that down before the flower. But I figure out a way. Watch. I'll just stick it right up under there. And it worked out fine. Cute. And we'll put this last little leaf on. And then we'll zhuzh it up. And we'll be ready to go. So if you guys have any anything you want to see in particular, let me know. I am going to be doing some more paint skins. I got some cool dies that I want to cut out some paint skins. I'm also going to be doing some, I think I have a tumbler I'm going to be working on and a couple of paintings this next week. Just getting prepared for new items or new products that are coming out that I have access to. So I'm going to be doing that this week. My fingers are just not working today. I have a hard time with these. There we go. So I have them all where I think I want them. I'm going to glue them down. And this card will be finished. I do have to trim those stems off though. I did so many things the opposite what I normally do that I did on this card. Like I would have cut those stems down and I would not have glued that background down yet. This is what happens when you're like, oh, I need a video. I was not going to post one today because of the holiday. And I thought, I really should do a video. So this was all done this morning. And I'm editing. And this will be up this afternoon. Put my stamp on there, made by Christina. And this card's ready to go. So it will go in my cure pile so my glue gets all cured. And it'll be ready to go. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye now.